your asks that changes that you want the provincial government to take?
I think there's three. I think the first would be that there has to be established some pathways to citizenship or status. Right? We're not here to say that we know how that would look, but at least there has to be a process by which we can look at how is it that workers can have access to citizenship, to status, because many workers are coming here 10, 20, 30 years at a time for 10 months of the year and are being told that they're good enough to work 25 out of 30 years, but not good enough to stay. Or we think that at the root cause of this is their precarious status. The other facet of it is enforcement of protections that do exist. So there has to be an enforcement mechanism specifically for these programs. So if there's a seasonal agricultural worker program, there should be an enforcement mechanism that makes sure that there's no reprimands without investigation, that repatriation can't be done solely at the whim of the employer. Right? So a specific enforcement mechanism that is representational of workers, much like the employers, much like the government. And the third thing that we would definitely look at is an abolishment of employing anybody or finding a way to restrict or reduce or eliminate fully, actually, any type of recruiter fees. So in Guatemala, the International Organization of Migrants was charging $400 to Guatemalan workers to be able to apply to get into these programs. So $400 actually represents quite a lot of money for workers that don't necessarily have an income in Guatemala. And so many people are going into debts or paying people to get into these programs.
Actually have two guests, Pablo and Santiago, who are here to talk to you about one of the most exciting examples of community-based worker organizing that's been going on in Ontario, but also across the world, and that is around migrant workers.
I came to Canada because of the work. We have our children back home in Jamaica. I don't have enough work in Jamaica, so I get the card, and I just came here to work, to support my children, my family.
And what that means is they're subject to greater risks in the workplace. And when they face difficulties in terms of being able to access healthcare because they're isolated, because they don't have the same language levels, because they don't have access to a health card, or they're waiting for their employer to give them access to the healthcare system or to translate for them, the power dimensions mean that they often don't receive the healthcare they need, and they return home sick or injured. And what that means is that because the way that the seasonal agriculture worker program works is that means they probably won't come back in the subsequent year. And they probably won't receive the kind of treatment they need and the long-term care they need. And so it's not just about the fact that when migrant workers are here, they face risks of everything from exploitation, abuse, increased health risks.
We're here today passing out these flyers, raising awareness on the blacklisting of Mexican migrant workers in Canada. We have evidence that the Canadian-Mexican government has been colluding to union bust and to break down organization of workers to defend their rights, and we're here raising awareness at this conference. We want people involved in immigration policy to know that we don't accept blacklisting of migrant workers.
Stop migrant exploitation!
With the drums you have the capacity to create a move.